Cool.
Okay, I'm recording now. Okay, carry on.
All right. And then Julia was in the army with you as well, did you say?
She was actually in the Marine Corps.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And where does Julia live? City and state is fine. I don't need the address.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think she's in San Diego.
Hey, that's where my wife is from.
Nice.
I've only been out there one time.
Yeah, definitely been there a few times, but
It's really, really expensive out there.
yes, true story.
All right, and then any other service members?
Not that I can think of off the top. Not that I would put on here for the kids to reach out to. These would definitely be the two that I would feel comfortable knowing would help.
Gotcha. Now, the next section over here, Janelle, this is one of the most important. It is the persons to be notified. Now, the VSOs are concerned that unclaimed benefits will exist due to outdated or incorrect beneficiary information when a veteran passes away. So this section acts as like an emergency contact list or extended beneficiary list. God forbid when something does happen, they want you to list the people that you would want to be notified that would be responsible for you. So I know you told me you had 4 children, right? Or 4 adult children.
Yes.
Go ahead with the first one that you want to list.
Let's do Retta.
All right. Retta.
That's correct.
And Retta's last name.
Miller.
Awesome. And Retta is your daughter, correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, is Retta married or have a significant other?
Yeah, Jamie.
How do you spell that?
He does it with two E's at the end.
Does that look about right?
Yep.
Awesome. And then what's Jamie's last name?
Miller.
Perfect. And then where does Retta live? What city and state?
She's in Idaho. She's up in Bonners Ferry.
Bonners Ferry?
Mm-hmm.
Bonners?
Yep. Ferry, like a ferry boat.
That's what I had. I was watching Disney with my little cousins.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Who's after Retta?
Starla?
Starla?
Yes.
And what's Starla's last name?
Beck, Beek.
Beek.
Mm-hmm.
And Starla's another daughter?
Yep.
And then is Starla married or have a significant other?
Yes, Noah.
Is it Noah Beck?
Yep.
Awesome. And where do they live?
They are in Salt Lake.
Perfect. Who's after Starla, Janelle?
Nicole?
Nicole. And then what's Nicole's last name?
Gray?
With an E or A?
E.
All right. And Nicole's also your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And is Nicole married or have a significant other?
Pete.
Gray?
Yep.
Perfect. And where do they live?
They're also in Idaho.
Bonners Ferry?
Yes.
Perfect. Who's next, Janelle?
Ashley. Good job, Divon. You're good at collecting us. Go to the next piece.
All right. 4 daughters, huh?
Yeah. My husband deserves a medal. Deserved. Oops, I forgot in this scenario. Deserved.
Yeah. Now over here on the upper right, financial institutions, Janelle, this is just a spot where you can list where you hold your accounts. That way your family knows which accounts they need to close when that time comes, okay? So you guys can fill that in once you receive this booklet.
Okay.
Now, the next section, final will and testament. Do you have a final will and testament in place?
No, that was primarily why I wanted this.
Well, don't even worry about it. We're going to cover that in the next section. Either way, This is where you can list where you keep the will on file, when it was last updated, and just be sure to name an executor, all right?
Okay. Yeah,
Perfect.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's the whole reason I did this request.
Yeah, no, we're gonna get to that in the next section. Now, over here where it says insurance policies, this is where you can list out any life insurance or group medical coverage that you carry. You just need to list the coverage amount, the policy number, and the company providing those benefits because your family can't just hop on Google and search up where you hold your benefits, right?
Right.
Now, I know you told me earlier you did not convert any of your SGLI to VGLI, correct?
I did not. No.
I know you told me they wanted like $500 or $600 a month.
Yeah, no,
Now,
not gonna do it.
I don't blame you. Now, the VSOs found that, many civilian and even VA benefits were temporary and that they periodically go up in price. If there is anything that expires as you get older, Janelle, list them here in pencil to make sure it's up to date. Now, if you do qualify for your permanent benefits through the VSOs, you can list them here in pen and use ink because they are set up to be guaranteed, never expire, and pay out no matter how you pass away. Now, the VSOs establish those permanent benefits for the rest of your life, and they're going to have me cover them with you before we wrap up. Any questions so
Okay.
far?
Nope, that all makes sense so far.
Awesome. Now, over here on the back side, Janelle, the next section is digital accounts. Very similar to the bank accounts. Any email addresses or social media that you use, you can list everything here, your usernames and your passwords. That way, when that time does come, your family can either, close them out or keep in loving memory of. All right?
Okay.
Awesome. Now, funeral instructions. As most of us know, dealing with the death of a loved one can be difficult and sometimes, even a burden. So this section just alleviates some of the burden and it clearly states your wishes. I know right now we have you were kind of leaning more towards a mausoleum. Once you receive this and you make your decision, you can list, what funeral home, name and location of your service, name and location of the cemetery that you want to use. This is pretty much like a roadmap for your family. That way your wishes are fulfilled. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna go over your VA cemetery options in just a bit. Now, like I said, if you choose the VA cemetery option or if you prefer a private arrangement, just make sure it's listed here. Now,
Okay.
this part is really, really cool, Janelle. The VSOs established this freedom of choice certificate. Let me know when you see it on your screen. It should look like a green certificate.
Yes. Says
Now,
American income.
yep, freedom of choice offered by
Okay.
American Income. Now, this takes care of burial expenses and any other out-of-pocket final expenses the family might have. They want to give you the opportunity to leave behind a legacy, not a liability. If you qualify, it is permanent and it never changes on you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So yeah, this certificate is really, really cool. This is like the main benefit that all veterans are trying to get. And like I said, it covers their burial and funeral and other out-of-pocket expenses. And we're gonna get to this in more detail in just a bit, and we're gonna see if you qualify, okay?
Okay.
How awesome is that?
Pretty darn cool.
Oh yeah. Now we are gonna go over your legal will kit. Now, this is your legal will kit right here, Janelle. Now, it does start off with writing instructions, and then from there, it goes into like a simple but detailed 7-step process to update your will.
Okay.
Now, this covers things like guardianship, nominating an executor, listing who's going to inherit your assets or belongings. There's even a section to disinherit somebody if you need to.
Okay.
Now, I recommend everybody to have a will for a couple reasons, but the first and most important reason is, when something happens to you, you don't want your family to go through probate, right?
No, not at all.
Exactly. And if you have any large debts, they can hold onto your estate for a period of time before it's given back to the family. Now, we're gonna go ahead and email this over to you. And then all you got to do is you got to go to the website right here, Janelle, americawills.com/willkit, enter your promo code. Now, do you know the average cost of a will in the United States right now?
I just know it's expensive, which is why I was requesting this.
Yep. Right around $2,000, attorney
What?
fees
That's
and everything.
ridiculous.
Yep. Now, as a thank you for your service, we're not going to charge you 2,000, we're charging you 1,500, okay? I'm messing with you, Janelle. As a thank you for your
Well,
service.
I'm hanging up right now. I'm just kidding.
I'm messing with you. As a thank you for your service, there's actually going to be no cost for your will. So this is going to come to you with no cost. Just make sure that you get it notarized to make sure that it's valid, okay?
Okay.
Pretty nice. How easy did they make this for you?
It's gonna be nice. It's
Oh yeah,
definitely takes some of the anxiety out of it.
definitely. And it's free.
That I like. That I like.
Awesome. Now, the next thing they want me to go over with you, Janelle, um, is your VA survivor benefits. Now, the VSOs want to simplify everything as much as possible because they know, working with the VA can be difficult, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So they broke down your survivor benefits into three important facts. Points one and two apply to veterans seeking a VA cemetery arrangement, and point three applies to everyone else. Well, to everyone, really. Now, the VA wants you to know that they own and operate about 150 cemeteries across the country. It is important to note that every cemetery is different. Some only accept earth burials, others only cremations. Some require a medal of honor to gain access, and there's others, Janelle, that are closed entirely due to little or no space. And that's why you can no longer reserve space ahead of time at any VA cemetery. What you can do, though, is you can put your discharge on file and pre-register. Now, that doesn't guarantee you a spot. It really depends on when you pass if the VA can accommodate you. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Got it. And then right over here, Janelle, and I'll send this over to you as well. If you ever want to find a VA cemetery, this is the website for it. It's sem.va.gov. All you would do is you would either put in your zip code or press on your state, and it'll show you the national cemeteries near you. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
And like I said, I'll send you one over to your email. That way you know exactly where to look.
Okay.
Awesome. Now, the second point is the VA covers you for a lot more at the National Cemetery than if you seek a private arrangement. At a VA cemetery, they're going to provide you with an assigned space for you and a spouse, take care of opening and closing costs, your grave liner, and then a headstone or marker. Now, the VA provides upkeep at no cost to the family. All costs before you reach the cemetery is the family's responsibility, while the VA takes care of everything once you reach the VA cemetery. So pretty much, Janelle, they're going to provide you with a space and a headstone. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Yeah. So like they won't pay for the actual funeral home stuff, is what I'm understanding. Is that right?
Yeah, they're like I said, provide you pretty much with a space and a headstone.
Oh,
Anything before you reach the cemetery is the family's responsibility.
wow, they really don't pay for much, do they?
Yeah, I mean, don't worry, it gets better. Now, if you are seeking a private arrangement, Janelle, it is important to note that the VA does not cover everything. They'll provide you with about $200 for a headstone or marker, and then reimbursement up to about $900 for a burial or plot allowance. Now, for service disabled veterans, Janelle, they'll provide about $2,000 for a service related death.
Okay.
Now, it is important to note that veteran caskets and urns are not free unless the death occurs on active duty. Now, no matter the route you choose, your family will still receive that memorial certificate and burial flag. And then another thing that most veterans don't know is that they'll never separate you and your family. Your family may be eligible for a space at a VA cemetery, even if they predecease you as a veteran. Now, do you have any questions on the VA benefit side of things and how it all works?
No.
Awesome. Now, as we wrap up your no matter what benefits, the VSOs found only 1 in every 200 veterans are aware of this program, and they want to ensure that every veteran has the knowledge and knows their benefits and has access to the same information because they were concerned that there could be a lot of inconsistencies in what veterans are provided after their discharge, especially with over 1,700 veterans passing away daily. You know, that is over 50,000 families looking for these benefits every single month. And you know, it's unfortunate, Janelle, but they try to find them after something's already happened, which leaves
Hmm.
a large burden onto the family. Now, the VSOs do need your help. Can they count on you to support and protect our nation's veterans?
Yep, of course.
Perfect. Awesome. So, what I want you to do is, you know, go ahead and just grab your phone, you know, go to your contact list, start at the top, and just list off anybody that you see that's a veteran.
Okay. Perfect. Good job.
All right. Cool. All right, perfect, Janelle. Now, this part is really, really cool. So everyone that you mentioned in the family information guide will automatically receive access to the veteran legacy benefits we just covered, and they're going to have access to the permanent benefits that we're going to discuss in just a minute. Now, other than the veterans, you know, that you provided, they're also authorizing you to extend your benefits to those closest to you. So your children that you mentioned in the family information guide and your other family members, okay?
Oh, okay.
Now, all they recommend is they be at least 21 years old, that they are either employed or retired and in good standing with the law. Okay. And what they're going to receive, Janelle, is this burial guide and will kit, that final will and testament, and a $2,000 accidental death and dismemberment policy. Does that make sense? Now, they're probably going to love you forever for doing this. So when I talk to them, I'll try to get at least one of them to send you a fruit basket or something in the mail for hooking them up.
So, but the kids, like, they didn't, none of my kids served in the military.
Yep, exactly. And that's why I said the VSOs authorized you to extend them to those closest to you, which are your family members and friends, even if they didn't serve.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How
All
cool
right.
is that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like I said, they're probably going to love you forever. I'll put in the good word for you.
They better love me forever anyway.
Now, because we don't solicit to veterans and their families, the VSOs just require your permission to contact them so they can receive access to the same benefits and information.
Hmm.
Now, I know we have Retta, Starla, Nicole, Ashley, and then George and Julia. Is there anybody on this list that you don't want to have access to those veteran legacy benefits?
No, 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 nobody that
Awesome. And then is there anybody else that you want to list that we didn't list on here?
I can't think of anybody.
Gotcha. Now, what I'm gonna do, Janelle, is I'm just gonna send a three-way text to everybody here.
What's that $12,000?
So remember when I told you it was $2,000 accidental death and dismemberment policy that they're gonna get as well when I showed you that sponsorship program? So
Oh, yeah.
each one of your family members and friends is gonna receive that $2,000 policy. Okay?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Now what we do, Janelle, is we actually can do a three-way text and it'll just say something along the lines of like, you know, hey Retta, this is Divon with AIL and I handled the benefits for veterans and their families for your mother, Janelle, and she was able to extend them out to you. So
Okay.
go ahead and just grab your phone and we're going to list all their phone numbers right now. Now,
Okay.
once you do receive the three-way text, all I ask, Janelle, is just to reply back saying thanks, Devon, or something along those lines. That way your family knows, you know, I'm a real person and I don't get yelled at. All
Okay.
right.
All right.
I don't think you don't want me to like actually press it, right? All right, cool. Now we got that done and out of the way. Perfect.
Okay, yeah, I'll reply to those once we're done here.
Yeah. Well, it's not letting me be done.
You have to deactivate them all in order to get
Oh,
out
I
of
thought
it.
you
Yeah.
did. Okay, cool. Perfect. Now, Janelle, the VSOs do realize that the burial, allowance provided through the VA is nowhere near enough to cover a veteran's funeral service. And that's exactly why they partnered up with American Income to design benefits to fill in this area of need. Now, they just have me read this letter off to you so I can back up and fill you in on exactly what they have set up for you, okay? And all it says is, Dear veterans, the benefits being provided to you today are made possible through the voluntary cooperation of veteran organizations and American Income. These coverages are supplemental and that they are not in competition with any coverages you may have with a VA, work, or elsewhere. If you qualify, these programs last a lifetime and are under your independent control, meaning they are both permanent and portable. There's going to be several benefits made available. They just ask you to take a few minutes to listen to the representative speaking with you. They design these benefits to fill areas of need, and they suggest that if you qualify, take advantage of these benefits today during your service period so we can efficiently reach as many veterans as possible. Now, what this is all saying, Janelle, is after I show you all the benefits, explain how they work, and answer any questions you have, if you qualify, you and your family will be able to take advantage of these benefits during your service period, which is today. Now, do you know why they tell you to take advantage of them today, Janelle?
No.
Take a guess.
Because I'm on the phone with you.
Yeah, but more importantly, it's because, we never know what's going to happen tomorrow, right?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, especially with over 1,700 veterans passing away daily, there are many veteran families in need of help. So, Janelle, they just ask you at the end of the call today, let me know yes or no if you want to qualify for these benefits. And that's out of respect and courtesy to the countless veterans waiting for the help they need. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Now, once I'm finished, they're going to have us fill out that report form that I mentioned earlier that goes back to the VSOs. So they know you got your benefits explained to you and I did my job. All right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome. Now, these next benefits, Janelle, are by far the most important. They are your permanent benefits. Now, just because you're a veteran in good standing, that doesn't mean you automatically can enroll into the benefits. Just like, anybody else, you have to qualify. If you're too high of a risk, they can't let you in. So I just got to ask you a few questions first.
Okay.
Janelle, do you have a terminal illness, Alzheimer's, or use oxygen?
I
And
don't
not
remember. No, I don't.
Don't scare me, Janelle. Any internal cancer in the last 2 years?
Well, I've had cancer.
What kind of cancer did you have?
I had breast cancer.
Oh, okay. And how long ago did you have that?
It was about 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Are you cancer free?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Thank
good.
God.
Yeah.
How long have you been cancer free for?
Uh, 5 years? I think we're coming up on 5 years.
That's awesome. My mother-in-law had it. It's not
Not
pleasant.
cool. Not cool.
Gotcha. In the last 2 years, have you had any heart attacks or strokes?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Thank God. Now, do you use any tobacco or marijuana in any form?
Nope.
Awesome. Any kidney disease, kidney dialysis, anything like that?
No, nothing like that.
No. What about like any liver, cirrhosis of the liver transplants, or any, major organ transplants?
Nope. Nope.
Awesome. And then any hospitalizations, Janelle, in the last 5 years?
Hospitalizations. No, no, nothing.
Nothing.
That you don't mean like if you had to go to the ER, you're saying like actually stayed at the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Awesome. And then any health issues that run in your family?
Well, the cancer and my dad died of a heart attack, so I guess that would be considered. a health issue, right?
Yes, it is. When did your how old was your father?
He he was 72.
Oh wow. That's when he
So
had a heart attack.
yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Now I feel like more younger people are starting to go through that stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I don't think people take as good care of themselves.
I don't know what it is. I think it's either the food or just the carelessness.
You know, I think the food's definitely part of it.
Now, I'm not the final say on if you qualify or not. They're going to let me show you a few different benefit options. Now,
Okay.
it is important to know and understand that, when it comes to the permanent benefits, every veteran is seen individually because, you all have different needs and wants. What's right
Right.
for you, isn't right for the veteran I saw before you and won't be right for the veteran I'll see after you. So that's why they have us sit down with you guys on an individual basis. Does that make sense?
Yep, that does.
Awesome. Now, with that being said, they have me ask you a few questions just to make sure that, the benefits are filling in a need for you and your family. Now, I know you told me your income was right around 90,000 or 7,500 a month. I know you told me you have a mortgage right now, about 50,000 left. And then
Mm-hmm.
you did mention briefly earlier that you had another property. Um, do you owe any money on your other property?
No, it's paid in full.
Awesome. You're just getting closer and closer to the American dream, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you have any auto loans, Janelle?
No auto loans, no.
Nice. What kind
The
of car do you,
car, the truck's paid for, the car's paid for. Yeah, they're paid for.
what
Nothing on
kind of car
those.
do you got? Can you hear me?
Say that again.
Oh, what kind of truck do you got?
The F-350.
Oh, nice. That beats my F-150. You
Yeah, it
got
will eat it for lunch.
now any credit card debt over 10,000, Janelle?
No, no
No.
credit card debt. No.
Gotcha. Now, any student or personal loans that you have out?
Oh, no, 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 we didn't do the student loan thing. Nope.
And no personal loans either?
No.
Awesome. And then any toys like a boat, camper, jet ski, motorcycle, anything like that?
I have a couple ATVs.
Awesome. Now, are those paid off or do you owe money on them?
I still owe on the one, about 30 grand.
On one of them?
Yeah,
What kind of ATV do you got?
I got a Can-Am.
Nice. I had a Can-Am Ryker, the three-wheeler.
Nice. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, let me ask you something, Janelle. Have you ever had to plan or, participate in planning a funeral before
Yes. Yep.
with
Yep.
your
Yep.
late husband?
Hmm.
Gotcha. Now, the reason I ask you, Janelle, is, because it's a pretty serious problem, right? And the concern with the VSOs and AIL is not if you're gonna die, because we all know we will one day, right?
That's true.
Exactly. The biggest concerns that they had for veterans and their families is the cost of funerals and final expenses, because, as you saw earlier, your VA benefits are pretty limited, right?
Yeah, they're not much, are they?
No. And when that day does come and your family goes to the funeral director is gonna, tell them, hey, I'm sorry for your loss. And then what are they gonna do right after? What are they gonna do right after, Janelle?
Gonna make you pay for stuff.
Exactly. They're gonna, expect them to pay for, put up a bulk or all of the money before they even get started on anything.
Yeah.
Now, traditionally, veterans handle their arrangements in, one of three ways. The first options is savings, which I'm pretty sure, you've worked for a long time and worked pretty hard to build. And, the problem with that is it's not something you want to die on. It's something you want to live on, right?
Definitely something you want to live on.
Exactly. Now, nowadays, there are some veterans in situations where they can set money aside, but nowadays it's not really a good option for anybody. So, the second option is where veterans can use like a prepaid option. And then with the prepaid option, what that is, Janelle, is you go to like a local funeral parlor or funeral director and try to set something up there individually. And the problem with that, Janelle, is that, veterans came back to us and kind of told us that it's almost like a hostage situation because for whatever reason, if you ever wanted to move to another, state or place, well, now your family has an out-of-pocket expense to move you back, right? And I
That's
don't know about
true.
you, but it's a lot more expensive transporting a dead body through state lines than somebody living and driving through state lines, right?
Yep, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yep.
Definitely wouldn't want to be doing that.
And then currently, just like any other company, funeral homes are no exception. They can go out of business. And if that does happen, Janelle, there's no rule where they have to honor the same contracts that were originally laid out. So, prepaid options are becoming less and less popular because a large burden could still be left onto the family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, the third and final option is traditional life insurance. Now, with traditional life insurance, Janelle, the thing is with that is that they're not all created equally. Some are temporary and some have specific qualifications for passing. And, they just don't work for everybody. Another thing that most people don't know when it comes to those traditional or civilian life insurance policies, they can hold the money for 3 or more months. And this again can put a large burden on the family because as your family is waiting for the money, the funeral director is, breathing down their neck, trying to get the money from them, and then it just becomes a whole, fiasco. And that's exactly why they came up with that freedom of choice certificate, Janelle.
Hmm.
Now you should see it on your screen. Let me know when you do.
Yep. Yep. I see that. It's the same one you showed me before.
Exactly. Now, all the family has to do is present this certificate to any funeral home across the country, and then we take care of everything. The VSO set this up to protect you and your family. That way, they never have to bring a checkbook. They don't got to put anything on a credit card. The family just takes it in and makes sure that everything's handled immediately. Now, the funeral director is not going to know how much the benefit is. All they're going to know is that they're going to be paid as soon as 24 to 48 hours. Now, what the funeral director does, Janelle, is they call the 1-800 number. We verify that the benefit is active. We actually never reveal the benefit amount. That way, the funeral director gets their share, and then every penny over that comes back to the family where it belongs as soon as 24 to 48 hours. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Now, Janelle, doesn't it give you peace of mind knowing that, on the worst day of your family's life, they have a few less things to worry about?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now it does look like they are wrapping up here. Let's see what the VSOs have set up for you. So it looks like what they have allocated for you, Janelle, is 120,000 for any cause of death. That's natural, illness, or accident. You can use it anywhere, even if you move out of state. And it also builds cash value after 3 years of that policy being active. So there's going to be some money in there to take care of your program, God forbid if something happens, and it never expires no matter how old you get. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you pass in in some kind of accident, Janelle, they're gonna send your family an additional $50,000 just to help out right away.
All
Now,
right.
one of the more common types of accidents is what type of accident, Janelle?
Auto. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Vehicle.
Now, if you were to pass in some sort of auto accident, they're gonna send an additional $100,000 to your family. Now, if that accidental death occurs on a common carrier, like a bus, a boat, a plane, somewhere you pay to be a passenger on, they're going to send the family an additional $250,000. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, Janelle, doesn't it give you peace of mind knowing that, your family does have that freedom of choice to use when something happens?
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty
That's the
cool
main
thing.
benefit. That's like the main benefit that every veteran's trying to get. They love the immediate payout. Now, they weren't too concerned about your medical bills, Janelle, because, veterans generally do have good health insurance and they can typically go to the VA. What they were simply concerned about is, loss of income and time and other expenses that add up when somebody gets hurt and in the hospital. So they set up these next benefits to handle three things. Now, let's say you get hurt, it's something minor, nothing too crazy, and you got to go to the ER. They're going to send you a check for $250 every time you go to the ER just to get something looked at. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Now, when it is a little bit more serious, Janelle, and you actually end up in the hospital, they're going to start sending you $500 every single day that you're in the hospital. Does that make sense? They're going to do that for up to a full year per injury. Okay.
Okay.
That adds up to $3,500 a week. Now, worst case scenario, Janelle, is, if you end up in the ICU, because the ICU is life or death, they're going to double that amount up to 14 days, which means 7,000 a week. They'll do that up to 14 days, Janelle. And then after that, if you're still in the ICU after the 14th day, it just drops back down to the daily hospital benefit. All right.
Okay.
Awesome. Now, those benefits are going to cover you for the rest of your life starting today, anywhere in the world, and they never run out no matter how many times you use them, okay?
Okay.
Now, let's face it, Janelle, we're all going to pass away someday, and that's something that we don't have any choice or control over. So, it typically comes down to veterans like yourself taking care of something now, or that burden's going to end up, being placed on your family in the future. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Now, there are some more medical questions that we have to ask to see if you qualify. But the
Mhm.
most important question is, Janelle, when something does happen to you, like a bad car wreck, there's going to be a total of $220,000 that gets sent out to the family. Who do you want that money to go to?
It's gonna go to the kids.
All four of them?
Yep.
Gotcha. So it's going to go to Retta, Nicole, Starla, and Ashley, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Now, before we even see what they have everything out for you, let me ask you something, have you ever used like a financial advisor before?
Nah. Kind of do my own thing.
You said what?
Kind of do my own thing.
Oh, you do your own thing.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I asked you, Janelle, is because, when using a financial advisor, what they typically recommend is that veterans try to, you save up or spend about 20 to 30% of their monthly income to cover things like this. And that's roughly, you putting aside about $2,000 a month for something like this. And I don't think that's anything you want to do, right?
No.
I
No.
didn't think so.
Yeah.
Now, let's see what they have for you. So the option that we just went over in detail, that is the enhanced option. Now, with the enhanced option, like I said, that $120,000, that's going to be, more than enough money to cover your $50,000 mortgage, your $30,000, ATV. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to cover your funeral and final expenses. This has, inflation protection, and there's going to be, a lot more money that's going to be left over after everything is paid for that your kids are going to be able to split. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure, you want that mortgage covered, right? God forbid something were to happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not for $800 a month.
Yep. Well, like I said, Janelle, this is the enhanced option. And I personally wouldn't recommend the enhanced option. I don't think you need all that. Most of our members do go with the more affordable option, which is the recommended option. Now, with the recommended option, it looks like what they have for you, Janelle. I want you to pay attention. Are you looking at the screen?
Yep.
Perfect. With the recommended option, they still have your living benefits. So same exact thing. If you get hurt and you go to the ER, you get $150 every time you go. Every night you spend in the hospital, $300 a night, which adds up to $2,100 a week. And they still have that intensive care unit benefit. So they double that to $600 a week or $4,200 sorry, $600 a day or $4,200 a week. They do that for a full 14 days. After that 14th day, it just goes back down to the $300 a day. Now, they do have that freedom of choice that you can see on your screen. Now, with the recommended option, that gives you for any cause of death $30,000. Same exact thing. That's going to be able to cover, your funeral and your final expenses. That's going to be able to cover, some of that ATV that you still have, left over, right? More importantly, Janelle, you still have your accidentals. So same exact thing. If you pass in some sort of accident, your family's gonna get an additional $30,000 on top of the freedom of choice. If it was an auto accident, additional $60,000 on top of the freedom of choice. And then with the common carrier, additional $150,000 on top of the freedom of choice. Now, remember when I told you that using a financial advisor, they generally try to have you set aside about 20 to 30% of your monthly income.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here at American Income, we don't actually do any of that. Just so you guys know, where our heart and where our head's at. This recommended option comes out to $289.25 a month, which is right under 4% of your monthly income. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter to me which option you go with. You just let me know which option makes more sense, the enhanced for 727 or the recommended for the 289.
Well, definitely not that enhanced.
I didn't think so. That's why I told you. I don't recommend it. I don't think you need all that. So yeah, definitely not the enhanced. We'll X that out. Now, the recommended, like I told you, it does come to 289.25, which is roughly putting aside right around 3.5% of your monthly income. Now, is that something affordable for you month in and month out?
Well, I actually have a bunch of like I've got stuff in savings that the kids can use to pay for this.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad you do. Most of my members do have savings accounts. The only problem, with savings accounts, it's very smart of you to have, but it can take a while for that, God forbid if something happened, to you, it could take a pretty long time for your kids to actually have access to that. And remember when I was showing you earlier, that, the funeral director is going to probably be breathing down your children's neck, right?
That's true. That's valid.
And that certificate that I showed you earlier, do you see it on your screen right now?
Mm-hmm.
This is all that your children would need to have to give to the funeral director. Like I said, the funeral director just calls the 1-800 number on the certificate. We actually just verify that the benefit is active, and then everything else is taken care of from there. So your children don't have to wait for the money to come in. They don't got to wait for the bank to release the funds. This is the only thing that they would need to give to the funeral director. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that.
Now, more importantly, Janelle, I do have a fiduciary responsibility where I do have to put, the member first before the company or myself. I want to make sure that 289.25, that is something affordable for you month in and month out.
I mean, it's affordable. It's just I don't know if I need this.
You don't know if you need what?
I don't know if I need this.
Oh, you don't know if you need like your freedom of choice, something that's going to cover, your funeral and final expenses. That way that burden doesn't fall onto your children.
Well, I mean, they'll get the money from my savings eventually. So yeah, I don't know if I need it.
Gotcha. So, like I was saying earlier, it could take a while before they have access to that money. And Janelle, God forbid, like I said, nothing is ever promised tomorrow. If something happened to you tomorrow, right, and they have to go ahead and get all your arrangements taken care of, how do you think that they would, be able to get the money out of your savings?
Well, they'd go to the bank and they'd get it.
It's not that easy, Janelle. They gotta jump through hoops to actually have access to your funds, especially when something happens out of
Well, when
nowhere.
my husband passed away, I mean, it was easy. I had access to everything that I didn't have to wait for stuff.
Yeah. Were you on like a joint account with your husband?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were part of that account. That's a little bit different, right? You were
Well, I
part
have
of,
them listed as beneficiaries.
say it again.
Well, I have the kids listed as beneficiaries, so they should be able to just go get it.
Yep. Like I told you, it still does take a while, especially if they need a death certificate, right? Do you know how long it takes to have access to a death certificate?
Uh, it took about a week and a half to get the one for my husband. So
Yep. And then, a week and a half or 2 weeks. Right now, there are some people that actually can barely get a death certificate. So if there's a delay with the death certificate, what do you think is going to happen with the funeral home and, your body?
with the death certificate,
No, no, what I'm saying is by the time they get the death certificate, if there's a delay in the death certificate and the funeral home has your body and is holding on to your body, the longer it takes, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know.
It's a lot more expensive to store, a dead body than it is a live one, right?
Uh,
It
I guess.
is. So, with that being said, there's going to be more and more accumulation of bills. So that's why that freedom of choice is something really important to have, and that's why every veteran is looking for this benefit because they love that immediate payout. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not going to cost 30,000 to take care of me.
Yep. And that's why every single penny left over is going to come back to the family where it belongs, right? Does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
for example, let's just say it costs $10,000 to bury you, right? The
Hmm.
funeral director is going to get that 10,000, that leftover 20,000. If you just, if you pass in some sort of natural death, that leftover 20,000 is going to go to the family where it belongs. And that can tackle on, some money towards that ATV that you have a balance on. That can go towards bills for your children or whatever it may be. But the rest of the money in that certificate will go to the family where it belongs as soon as 24 to 48 hours. You froze on me, Janelle. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Got it. And then um like I said, even if it does sound good and you like everything, we still have to see if you qualify.
Okay.
Now, does that make sense?
Yeah, I just have to think about this.
Think about what?
It's just $300 is a lot of month to pay for something that I mean, I get that it'd be good, but and that 30 just, they're not going to need that much. And, they
Gotcha.
are going to get the money in my savings. So,
Yeah, no worries, Janelle. Now, let me ask you this. Set the money aside for now, forget about the price. I want to make sure that the concept makes sense to you. Is there anything
okay.
about these benefits that does not make sense?
No, it all makes sense.
But
It's
okay, good.
just seems like a lot of money for 30,000, and I don't know that I mean, they're not gonna need all of that.
Yeah, no worries. Now, what would you say to you is the most important part of these benefits? Do you think it's like the living benefits,
Well,
which is
honestly, I like the living benefits more because we do go out and ATV and, we are pretty active that way. And I get the value of, I mean, I get what you're saying, I guess it makes sense. I didn't know that they wouldn't get access to right away if they were the beneficiaries. It just seems like a lot.
gotcha. Yeah. So if you think that 30,000 is too much for your children, especially if you're really trying to just tackle on your funeral and final expenses, but you said you do go ATVing a lot. Well, you
Yeah,
do
we do.
at a canyon, right?
Yeah, we've got a lot of um wilderness, I guess you could say, a lot of land that we roam on and stuff. So I mean, that would make more sense to me than the other.
Yeah, for sure. Here, give me a sec here. Let me see if we can help you out a little bit. How often do you go to the canyon?
Oh, I'm out there every weekend. We're out there. We're out there at least once a week. Once a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. So you're an outdoorsy type of woman, right?
Yep.
There you go. I would just, I was in Thailand and that's probably the most outdoors things I did. All
Yeah, no, we love being outside. Love being outside.
right, let me see something. They did come back with me. Oh, awesome. Can you see the screen, Janelle?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, they did come back with me with something a little bit different. I think you're gonna love it. So you still have your freedom of choice, Janelle. Okay. What they did was they dropped your any cause of death to 18,000, which is still nothing to sneeze on, right? That's still gonna cover your funeral and final
Mm-hmm.
expenses. And that's still gonna have some money left over for the family, when they need it. What they did was they actually increased your living benefits, your hospital benefits. So anytime you get hurt, you got to go to the ER. You're gonna get $250 every time you go. Now, if you end up in the hospital, you got into a, God forbid, a bad ATV accident, Janelle, you kind of lost control. Every night you spend in the hospital, that is going to go up to $500 a day or 3,500 a week. And then, God forbid, the ICU, they're going to double that to $1,000 a day or 7,000 a week. Same exact thing, Janelle. 14 days. After the
Mm-hmm.
14th day, if you're still in the ICU, it drops back down to the $500. And then with your accidentals, God forbid you pass in some sort of accident, they're going to send the family an additional $50,000 on top of that 18,000 for the freedom of choice. Now, if it were an auto accident, additional $100,000 on top of the freedom of choice. And then that common carrier where I told you about the bus and boat and plane, anywhere you pay to be at that,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be an additional $250,000 on top of the freedom of choice. Now, Janelle, with that being said, they do have that option for 192.85 a month. Okay. I'm assuming that is, a lot more affordable than that 289. And then another thing, Janelle, depending on your age and health, if you wait until your next servicing period, this same exact plan could potentially cost you right around $400, depending on your age and health.
Mm-hmm.
With you being at your, youngest and healthiest, because I don't know if anybody told you this, Janelle, but none of us are getting any younger, right?
Well, we like to think we are, but it's not true.
This does come back to you at 192.85 a month. Now, is that something affordable for you month in and month out?
Oh yeah, that's much better. Yeah, I like those accidentals a lot. Yeah, this looks good.
Awesome. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up the application. We're going to see if you qualify. And then if you qualify, we're going to get everything completed today. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Awesome.